The NASCAR world feels a little weird right now. You know, when the season is just getting started, only a few races in, and suddenly the entire garage, the fans, the standings, the conversations online, everything feels like it's shifting at the same time. Yeah, that's exactly where we are right now. Because in the last few days, two completely different stories have exploded around the Cup Series, and both of them could have a real impact on how this season unfolds. One of them involves actual lineup changes heading into this weekend's race. Something that could shake up what teams are planning early in the year. And the other story, man, that one has NASCAR fans arguing all over the internet. Conspiracy theories, accusations, people questioning what's really going on behind the scenes in the sport right now. So, today we've got two big NASCAR stories to talk about, and trust me, both of them are getting people talking. But before we jump into it, real quick, if you're a real NASCAR fan like me, and you love talking about this sport every single week, go ahead and hit that like button and consider subscribing. This channel, NASCAR Nation Report, is brand new, and the goal right now is to hit our first 10,000 subscribers, just building a community of real race fans who live and breathe NASCAR. So, let's start with the first story, because this one is actually going to affect what we see this weekend at Phoenix Raceway. After the NASCAR Cup Series race at Circuit of the Americas, we now have two confirmed driver lineup changes heading into Sunday's race at Phoenix Raceway for the Straight Talk Wireless 500. And honestly, this is also the moment where the season finally starts to feel a little more normal. Think about it. The year started with the Daytona 500 at Daytona International Speedway. Then we had another super speedway race in Atlanta at Echo Park Speedway. And last weekend we were on a road course in Austin at COTA. So for a lot of drivers and teams, Phoenix is really the first traditional oval race of the season, where everyone can finally settle into a normal rhythm. There are 37 cars on the entry list again this week, just like at COTA, but two drivers are different. And the first change is one that a lot of people were already expecting. The team Childress Racing is once again entering the number 33 Chevrolet, which is a non-charted open car. They brought it to COTA last weekend with Jesse Love driving it. Love finished 27th in that race, which was actually his 6th career Cup Series start and his first time racing on road course at the Cup level. Now, this weekend at Phoenix, that same car is going to be driven by Austin Hill instead. And if you follow the lower series, you already know these two are teammates in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, currently sponsored as the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, where Jesse Love is actually the reigning series champion. So this is really just RCR rotating drivers in that open Cup car, giving both young drivers opportunities at NASCAR's top level. Love still has one more confirmed Cup start scheduled later in the 2026 season, while Austin Hill is expected to run at least 5 Cup races this year before the season wraps up. But the second driver change heading into Phoenix, that one wasn't planned at all. During the race at Circuit of the Americas, something pretty concerning happened with Alex Bowman from Hendrick Motorsports. In the middle of Stage 3, Bowman started feeling sick inside the car and actually had to come down pit road and step out of the number 48 Chevrolet. At that point, Matt Snyder jumped into the car and finished the race for him. At the time, Bowman was evaluated at the Infield Care Center and initially released, but later it was confirmed that he had been diagnosed with vertigo. Because of that, he will not be racing this weekend at Phoenix. Instead, the driver filling in for him is going to be Anthony Alfredo. And if that name sounds familiar, it should. Alfredo currently runs full-time in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series with Viking Motorsports. And earlier this year, he actually tried to qualify for the Daytona 500, driving the number 62 Chevrolet for Beard Motorsports. He initially looked like he had locked himself into the race through the America 250 Florida dual qualifying race. But NASCAR later found a technical violation during inspection and unfortunately, that knocked him out of the field. So now he's getting a pretty unexpected opportunity to jump into one of the best rides in the entire garage with Hendrick Motorsports. And honestly, the timing of this situation couldn't be much worse for Alex Bowman because his start to the 2026 season has been rough. After the first few races, Bowman is currently sitting 36th in the standings, dead last in points. He's already 45 points below the provisional playoff cut line, which is not where you want to be this early in the year, especially driving for a powerhouse team like Hendrick. Right now, the hope is that Bowman will be healthy enough to return next weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, a track where he actually won back in March of 2022. So we'll see how that situation develops. But now, let's talk about the second story because this one has NASCAR fans arguing everywhere online. And it all started after Tyler Reddick won his third straight race at the Circuit of the Americas. Let that sink in for a second. He won the Daytona 500, then won at Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta, and now he's won again at COTA. 3 races, 3 wins. That's an insane start to the season. And because of that run, Reddick already has a 70-point lead in the standings after only 3 races. Meanwhile, his teammate Bubba Wallace is currently second in the points with 2 top 10 finishes to start the year. That means the team sitting first and second in the standings right now is 23XI Racing, the organization owned by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. And here's where things get interesting, because if you remember last season, 23XI Racing wasn't dominating the sport like this. In fact, in 2025, all 3 of their drivers combined for only 1 single win all season, even though it was a big one when Bubba Wallace won the Brickyard 400. But there was something else happening behind the scenes last year. 23XI Racing along with Front Row Motorsports had filed an antitrust lawsuit against NASCAR over the new charter agreement. So the team was literally racing in NASCAR while also suing NASCAR in court at the same time. Needless to say, that made things pretty awkward around the sport. But then something major happened this past December. NASCAR and the team settled the lawsuit after what turned into an embarrassing 8-day trial for the sanctioning body. And according to reports, that settlement gave 23XI Racing a big financial payout, permanent charters, and a stronger voice in how the sport is governed. Now, fast forward to this season, and suddenly the team is dominating the Cup Series. And of course, the internet did what the internet always does. Conspiracy theories started flying. Some fans are actually convinced that NASCAR is secretly allowing 23XI Racing to cheat as part of the lawsuit settlement.
Yeah, seriously.
People online started claiming NASCAR might be looking the other way during inspections, or that the team somehow has extra horsepower in their engines. There were even comments floating around suggesting the cars might be running something like an 850 horsepower engine in a race designed for 750 horsepower. But here's the reality. After the race at COTA, post-race inspection was completed and there were no issues found with Tyler Reddick's car, which means the win was completely legal. And honestly, when you think about it logically, the conspiracy doesn't really make sense. No judge in the world would ever approve a legal settlement that allows a team to break the rules of the sport. And on top of that, do you really think NASCAR would want to give an advantage to the team that just dragged them through a lawsuit and forced them into a settlement? If anything, you'd probably expect NASCAR to be even stricter with that team, not more lenient. Now, that doesn't mean the lawsuit didn't have an impact. If the settlement included a large financial payout, that's money that 23XI Racing could absolutely reinvest into their cars, engineers, and development. And let's be real here, this team has been competitive ever since they entered NASCAR. They've had strong drivers, strong equipment, and a lot of support from Toyota Racing. So, it's not like they went from the worst team in the garage to the best overnight. But when one team starts winning everything, fans start looking for reasons. That's just the nature of sports. If your favorite driver isn't winning, suddenly the other guy must be cheating. And right now, Nobody is winning except Tyler Reddick and 2311 Racing, so of course the conspiracy theories are everywhere. But personally, I don't think there's anything shady going on here. What we're seeing right now just looks like a team firing on all cylinders. And honestly, there's something kind of cool about watching a team owned by Michael Jordan, a guy who built his entire career on dominating competition, now doing the same thing in NASCAR. Now, sure, I'll admit it, when one driver starts winning everything, it can get a little repetitive. I remember feeling the same way during the New England Patriots dynasty with Tom Brady, and NASCAR fans definitely remember the years when Jimmy Johnson seemed impossible to beat. But dominance is part of sports, and right now, a 2311 Racing is the team everyone else in the garage is chasing, which makes the next few races even more interesting. Because the big question now is simple: can anyone stop them? Or are we watching the beginning of one of the most dominant starts to a NASCAR season we've seen in a long time? And I definitely want to hear what you think about all of this. Do you think Tyler Reddick and 2311 Racing are just that good right now? Or do you understand why some fans are starting to question what's going on? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed talking NASCAR like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe to NASCAR Nation Report. The channel's still brand new and the goal right now is to reach our first 10,000 subscribers. Building a community of real NASCAR fans who just love talking racing. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.